Hey guys, back at it again. AJ Joma here, ready to go ahead and discuss with you guys the type of suppliers you're going to likely come across. Now, I always like to start off by showing you where you are in your journey to launching your high ticket, profitable, semi-automated e-commerce store. And we're still on module 4 where we're focusing on supplier approval. At this point, guys, I've introduced you in the previous lesson to the whole process of what suppliers look for, why you need to get approved, why there's an approval process, thinking in terms of the supplier, and getting you prepped up for the types of suppliers. Next, we're going to focus on actually finding suppliers. So one way I'm going to do that, guys, is I'm going to be providing you guys with a recording of a live mastery class that I hosted not too long ago, where I spent a better part of 2 hours going over off the cuff, just kind of sharing my screen, the exact process I used to find a supplier online. So I think it's worth adding on to this module. But in addition, I'll probably also provide a video of me kind of going over some fundamentals of finding suppliers online using Google, using Pinterest. I mean, guys, I use every tool in my arsenal. But surprisingly, you'll see how easy it is to find suppliers. The only real challenge is, getting a hold of them, getting them to approve you, getting them to move fast. But it's definitely something that's still worth going through. And the reason why it's such a phenomenal business model, because most people that are not going to work hard and not hustle, they're not going to do that part, right? So that leaves more opportunity for people like you and myself. So, types of suppliers you'll come across. You're going to have your basic suppliers, guys. These are the suppliers I try to avoid at all cost, and I'll tell you why. But basically, what separates a basic supplier from the rest is there's usually absolutely no approval process. You find the product, they're promoting it online, and you get a wind of it, and you might even be able to drop ship it just straight from their website, and or call them real quick just to make sure they're legit and start drop shipping from there. So there's no approval process, there's no minimum advertised price. As a matter of fact, some basic suppliers might even charge you to sell their products. And what you'll find more often than not is you'll see that there's very limited support, if not terrible support, when you deal with basic suppliers. So after basic suppliers, and I'll go over kind of some pros and cons of basic suppliers shortly, but I want to go over the three types of suppliers that I focus on, at least initially. So we, from basic suppliers, head on over to premium suppliers. Now, this is one of my, uh, I would say one of the best options, if not the best option for now for you guys being complete newbies. And I'll explain why later. But premium suppliers, the way they separate themselves is they usually have an account rep. There's definitely an enforcement of MAP, minimum advertised price. There is usually, if not always, an application that you have to fill out, a W-9 to return, and maybe even a credit app. Now, keep in mind, most suppliers won't ask you for a credit app, but if they do, it's just to know that you're legit, maybe that you possess the ability to fulfill your end of the bargain. But in most cases, don't let that throw you off because thanks to the whole concept of drop shipping, we get paid by our customers first, so we can pay our suppliers cash on demand for their product. And 9 out of 10 times, that's good enough. But expect an application process. You'll find that they have great customer support usually. They're very responsive. There's usually like an assistant or a secretary or an administrative person that can help you in addition to the account rep, maybe even a national account manager. I mean, they have like a chain of command, if you will, if they're big enough. Also, they provide great product images and product descriptions and videos for you to use in your on your website. So 9 out of 10 times, guys, we need to get those assets when we're ready to finally put our store together and add real product images on there. We are relying on the supplier to get us really high resolution quality images, maybe even videos and good product descriptions. So a premium supplier will generally have this, but not in all cases. So that's what really separates a premium supplier. Then we have an exclusive supplier. Now that is my absolute favorite because these are the suppliers I generally find that I'll build $1 million plus store around. Most of my multi-million dollar stores have come from exclusive suppliers. So, do I want you guys to start here? Honestly, I would start anywhere you can, but it's absolutely okay with to go with premium suppliers and still have success. What makes exclusive suppliers so unique is that you're usually the first or one of the very few drop shippers slash resellers that they work with or will ever work with. They're usually a small company or locally manufactured company. So when you go online, and I teach you guys in sourcing products and product selection in Module 3, I teach you guys to look for, to start off with, you can copy existing stores that are doing well. I would definitely be okay with being more generic or basic on your product selection just to get more exposure experience. But as you progress, as you start really looking for that seven-figure business, you will find that finding a unique or sourcing a unique product that maybe not many people have is going to be the way to go. And it's usually one product. Like I'm talking about one singular product that will make you most of your money. And exclusive suppliers are generally run by some designer or architect or artist and might have a small team, might be like a solo business owner. Um, and you'll find that you're going to be one of the first people that even introduce them to the idea of dropshipping. Maybe they don't even know what dropshipping is, and they've never worked with an online partner. So that's what really separates an exclusive supplier is that you're one of the few people to sell their products. So you're very low competition. You're going to probably get great deals. And I'll explain the pros and cons later. But those are the three types of suppliers you're going to come across no matter where you are in the world: basic, premium, and exclusive suppliers. So basic suppliers are, I categorize AliExpress suppliers as basic suppliers. You don't need approval. There's no map enforcement. Anyone can pretty much drop ship from them, and they have terrible customer support in most cases, right? But they're still sometimes worth doing business with. So in my course that you're going through now, I introduce you to drop shipping AliExpress, low and high ticket, really as a bridge. So there's no downtime for you guys. Because what you'll find is working with premium suppliers, whether they're premium or exclusive, can take some time. Best case scenario, you might get approved by a supplier in a day or two, and then another few days to get product images. That's best case scenarios. Most of the time, I find that it takes weeks and unfortunately sometimes months to get approved by suppliers, especially if they're exclusive or premium. So to avoid kind of that downtime of not having sales and traction and whatnot, I encourage you guys to source products from AliExpress or easy to use drop shippers that are at least going to honor that they'll deliver it. So there's some strategies I teach you guys, like make sure that they'll respond back to you, make sure they have certain star ratings on AliExpress, etc. So 9 out of 10 times though, I discourage drop shipping from basic suppliers unless you're using my temporary kind of bridge system where I say, while you're securing the premium USA supplier or premium supplier or exclusive supplier in wherever they are in the world, in the meantime, to get sales, to work on your ads, to start building your database, it's okay to source products from AliExpress, but that is the only time. And even then, we make sure that they're a higher quality supplier, okay? I don't care how great looking their product is. If they don't respond back, if they don't have good ratings on AliExpress, then I just won't do business with them because I'd rather not get any sales than get sales and not be able to fulfill it because I'm working with a terrible supplier. Premium suppliers, here's the good. There's usually thousands of suppliers to find online and locally as premium suppliers. They enforce MAP, which is what we want. They're pretty selective on who they accept. There is an application process usually. They have great customer support and they have quality control in their product. So working with premium suppliers is pretty ideal in most cases, but there are some cons you got to be aware of. Some of the bad is that you have to have really a strong traffic strategy because more than likely they're doing business with many online resellers, drop shippers, and brick and mortar companies. So you're going to have more competition with other resellers like yourself and even brick and mortar. That's not entirely a bad thing. That's why you want to make sure you spend a lot of your time on the traffic side of the training, mastering Google ads, mastering YouTube, mastering Facebook ads, and really setting yourself apart from the competition by implementing ad strategies and converting that cold traffic to buyers that the competition's not doing. So making sure that you're optimizing your cold traffic to paid customers is going to be very important when dealing with premium suppliers. And most importantly, you really need to set yourself apart by having a unique selling proposition, otherwise known as a USP. And it's a term that's used in all across the business world, which just basically means what's unique about you versus your competition? Why should somebody buy from you? And you usually correlate that in the form of your product page by offering whether you're doing white glove services, which is basically like, a hand holding, like we'll make sure you get the product delivered, we'll even install it for a set price, whether you offer free shipping, whether you offer like impeccable customer support, whether you offer, 100-day return policy, whatever it is that makes you unique, right? Maybe you offer tutorials and how-to videos, and you make your product page all about like content and value. So many ways to set yourself apart. But with working with premium suppliers, you want to make sure that you understand there's going to be a little bit more competition. Even though you're enforcing MAP, you're still going to be competing with other people on usually the same price point. So you have to set yourself apart. You're going to have a strong traffic campaign so you can get traffic away from the competition and close them when they visit your site by converting them. So that's some of the perks, some of the pros and cons with working with premium suppliers. Then we have exclusive suppliers. So there's a lot of good here, but there's also some bad. Not horrible, not really bad, but just like challenging, if you will. So exclusive suppliers, as I mentioned, is the kind of partnerships I form that end up resulting in seven-figure stores for me. The good is you're probably the only or first reseller. They've probably never even heard of drop shipping, or they don't know that much about it. You're going to get probably better margins as it's more negotiable because they've never negotiated for like profit margin. So you guys are going to be trying to work something out together. And obviously you want to shoot for higher profit margins, but it's okay to start a little low to build a relationship. General rule of thought, guys, and I'll touch on this at the end, but you want to try to negotiate with exclusive suppliers around 30, maybe 40% profit margin. But sometimes these guys are so exclusive, so small, that they're probably sharing their own profit with you. So it's just not feasible for them to do such a large profit margin. As long as you guys can negotiate at a very minimum, and don't you dare start here, just I'm telling you for your sake, don't tell a supplier this, but I would be okay with doing 15% profit margins on an exclusive supplier because I'm one of the only to sell it. So I might get a lot of sales and negotiate like a price increase in tiers, right? So let me prove myself for 90 days. And in 90 days, if I get you X amount of sales, let's go up to 20, 30, 40, 50% profit margins if possible. But that's always negotiable, and that's a really good thing. Your profits are usually protected because they do enforce MAP, or you can get them to enforce MAP. And they actually might send you customers. The cool thing is you might become the internet marketing expert for them, and they realize like you're better at driving online traffic than them, and they might send you business, which is really awesome. Some of the bad, if not just not bad but challenges, is it is way harder to kind of build a relationship with them because you need way more trust building. They're new to this. They're usually small groups or small companies or one guy team that has a really cool product. Usually they're dealing with you're dealing with the owner or CEO or one of the top people, and they're just more hesitant because they're more protective of their brand because they're trying to grow it and grow its reputation, and they don't want someone. What terrifies them is that they do business with someone like you, and I'm not saying you, but they do business with a reseller, a dropshipper, and the person just completely tarnishes their brand reputation, doesn't fulfill order, doesn't honor orders, and just really, maybe prices it at a super cheap price and just builds a bad brand reputation for their company. That's what terrifies them the most. So it's going to be your job to overcome that trust issue by building trust and proving to them that you're going to be somebody that helps them, not hurts them. So you're probably going to have to make a proposal. You're probably going to have more proof to them. You're going to have to show them why you're the real deal. So getting these guys to approve you is usually harder, in that they probably want to see what you've done before, right? So if you don't have any track record, then either A, you're going to have to just make something up, which I don't recommend you do entirely, but you got to be able to stretch the truth a little bit, right? So what I do is I'll leverage what I would do if I were you is I would leverage the experience and the expertise of seven figure skills. That's your leverage. Hey, I'm a part of a team of e-commerce entrepreneurs that generate over 10 to 20 million dollars a year in sales. There's a marketing team behind me because at just one quick email and I can have a marketing expert, I can have a e-commerce design expert. So I have my own basically e-commerce team of web designers, of ads managers, Facebook ad manager, copywriters, that are really good at optimizing high ticket products and selling high ticket products. That is your leverage. I would utilize that to your advantage if I were you. If you're not part of my Done For You program or you're not a partner of mine, I would seriously consider that because that adds more leverage to your negotiations when you're dealing with premium suppliers, or I'm sorry, exclusive suppliers. But in either case, it's what's going to set you apart. Uh, in going from like a six-figure store to a seven-figure store, and that is basically working with exclusive suppliers. So other types of suppliers to factor in, guys. Now we've broken down the type in general, which is basic suppliers, premium suppliers, and exclusive suppliers. But there's also suppliers from different walks of life. What I mean by that is you have local suppliers that you're going to only find in your small town, in your small chamber of commerce, artists, designers, architects, builders, people in your local town that are not well known. They might not even have a big website. They might not even be advertising, but they're showing up to trade shows or they're selling it on sites like Etsy or House.com. And I'll tell you guys about that later. But you got your small and local suppliers. You have your statewide suppliers, basically found regionally, only made and found in their state or regionally in their state, and they're pretty exclusive to find in general. And then you have international suppliers. So whether you're in the United States, so let's just say you're in the United States, in a lot of cases, I'll do business with European suppliers, Italian suppliers, especially Italian suppliers, because there's a lot of gorgeous architects and designers in Italy that manufacture great products. But the cool thing is they'll still drop ship to the United States, or they might even have a facility in the United States where they make the product that enables you to drop ship international suppliers' products to the United States and still make a profit. And if you are listening to me and you live in another country, wherever you live, there's hundreds of countries I can mention, but you want to work with a supplier outside of your own country, then that would also be considered international. So if you want to work with US suppliers, then you would be looking at an international supplier. And just keep in mind, whatever country you're going to drop ship in, most suppliers want you to have a corporation in that country and have a business account in that country and have an address in that country. Even though you're an online business, you just have to have something that ties you to that country, if you will. So hopefully, that gave you a really good bird's eye view of the type of suppliers you guys are going to be dealing with. And I really hope in the next lesson, you start really diving into finding your suppliers. You feel more confident now and more reassured that you know what you're talking about, you know who you're going to be working with, and you're going to be able to distinguish between the poor quality suppliers, the high-end suppliers. And no matter what scenario you come across, you will not feel intimidated. You will not feel like you are not prepared for it, because I am setting you up for success right now. I'll see you guys in the next lesson. AJ out.